Because I lead an organization of the elite. I lead an organization that does every single thing that this guy is saying do not do. And that has caused me a great deal of concern over the last 5 years since I've been in the organization. Because the reality is, I live the fruit of what he says in his book. So my background, I was a student of theology, I was a student of psychology, and I come to this world of philanthropy. I meet people with hearts of gold every day. And every day I am reminded of what my Italian grandmother would say to me when she was talking about her own children. She would say, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. And that has stuck with me so much because I get these really successful, wonderful people in Dallas who decide that it's time for them, they've made all their money, and it's time for them to do something good. And so they want to get involved in all of these projects to do something good. And you don't, of course, want to discourage that. You want people to do something good, right? But you want people to be doing something good that isn't charity. Charity has its place. Now remember, so I have those three big influences, the theology influence, the psychology influence, and the Italian grandmother influence. That one was the most influential. And the charity thing was always the angst, right? Because you should never do in charity what is due in justice. You don't steal from your neighbor and then bring them food from the food pantry and feel good about yourself because you have stolen from them their ability to work and to make their own money and to buy their own food because of your practices. I freely admit that as a white male, I did not get the gene. I wish I got the gene that allowed me to have a particular religious practice and then vote 100% against everything that religion taught me. The white male gene that allows people to do that, I did not get. I would be so much richer, I would be so much happier if I got it. But I missed that. And so I wonder, why is that? Why did I miss that? And the answer to that question is because I was not cursed with thought leaders when I was growing up, like we are today. I was cursed with people who were authentically well-educated people who lived a principled life and got after me in more ways than I can remember or share to count about what it meant to live a just and righteous life. And that meant that we have responsibility for our neighbors, but not only for our neighbors, but to the institutions that protected our neighbors. So one of the points that he makes in the book is we have disengaged from the institutions that were created to help people stand up to the other organized powers, that ordinary, regular people could have a place of safety through their unions, through their schools, through their extended, whatever the institution was that protected people from the powers of institutions that did not have their interests at heart. So now we have to give in charity. We have to give in charity what is due in justice, what is rightfully due. Right? There is not a day go by in my work where someone does not, that's exaggeration, a week go by where someone does not come and tell me, so-and-so told me that I couldn't come talk to you because you would help me because the Lord has laid it on my heart to start a nonprofit that does X, Y, and Z. Will you help me do that? And I'm like, no, I won't. You know why I won't? Because City Square is doing that. They've been doing it for 25 years. They do it so much better than you. Go live and learn what they're doing and support them and raise money for them and work with them rather than you going and starting something that you know nothing about. Because when I ask you, if you talk to the 10 people who are leaders in that field in our city, you haven't talked to any of them. A lot of people leave my office crying. Then I work every day with these young entrepreneurs who come in just right before I got here. I visited two bright young men, one's a software engineer, and the other is a finance major from SMU, and they want to create an app that is going to put people. He referred to them as panhandlers. We're going to put panhandlers to it. And I said, wait a minute. He said, first of all, you don't come to me and use the word panhandlers to talk about homeless people and how you're going to solve the problem of homeless people and finding. He may have an app that is actually useful to them. And, we may fund his app. But let's at least make sure that what he's going to end up doing is not reinforcing, just on the very nature of it, the image that we have of homeless people, which is not true. So these are all the issues that we face. Now, B Corps, we're the experts in B Corps. We're the experts in social impact organizations and finance and how we do good. We're gonna create a fund in Dallas that companies are going to loan us money, and then we're gonna give that money to nonprofits, and nonprofits are gonna, it's a very complicated finance system, very interesting, but nobody is asking the question, why do we need those nonprofits in the first place? And this is what he's saying. He's saying, we don't need those nonprofits if we were doing justice in our cities. So the very people that come to me in my organization, and I wonder how I've lasted as long as I have, because I say this to them. I say, you're on the board of an education nonprofit that is trying to get children to read at grade level by third grade. You know the statistics around all of that. You know how high the pipeline is to prison if you can't read on grade level when you're in third grade. You know that part of the way that the Texas prison system determines how many prisons they're going to need in 30 years is by this year's third grade reading levels. Okay, this is pitiful stuff, right? But the same guys who are on the boards of these nonprofits for education are voting not to have their taxes raised for public school education. I don't know how. This is why I'm so upset every day. Now, what Cheryl also did for me was we do a conference, one of those conferences that you talked about. We do one of those every year called Big Day. But Gerald has given me my keynote speaker because I'm going to do everything I can to get this guy to come be our keynote speaker for this city. So when Gerald and I were in community organizing, there was a session that really has saved my life and has allowed me to get through this work that I do every day. And it was, there's the world as it is, and there's the world as it should be. So I keep my eye on the world as it should be. But I have to work every day in the world as it is. I have to work with the elite who have really good hearts, have absolutely no clue how they have participated in these systems that have hurt so many of their fellow citizens. They have no clue how that's happened. And we have to figure out a way to get them to understand, to make the shifts, to do more and more of the advocacy that allows for systems change. How do systems change happen? What are the ways that systems get changed? So this was the other thing I was impressed with when I walked in this room. I didn't think that there were this many white people that would show up for something that said social justice. Here in Dallas. So you have impressed me so and inspired me. I'm going to do this work for a year, another year, just because of you. I know you're here. Other systems weren't, I'm Italian, so I'm going to keep talking. Who's going to do my time? You got me on the time. How do systems get changed?
Vote. Legislation.
Through public policy, through elections, through organized money. Yeah.
Rebellion,
all those ways. Advocating. Those are the kinds of things that we can do. But I guess for social venture partners, where we're moving is we no longer believe in the myth that philanthropy is here, public government is here, right? And religion is over here. We are actually trying to say, well, we haven't made any progress by being in those silos and operating out of those silos. Right? We have to be doing more and more public policy work, bringing philanthropy to match government programs that are working. You talked about, what was the one thing you said about you're not going to let anybody make comments anymore? What was that about? Slaves, right? But there were good slaves. You said you're not going to let those comments go by. The one comment that I'm not going to let go by anymore, which I hear 3 3, 5, 15 times a week is what we all know, governments can't do it. And how many times do we let that comment go? Meanwhile, we enjoy everything that governments do effectively. Like driving here, there was a lot of government work that allowed me to get from North Dallas to here without any problem. It's an awful lot of governments that do work. There's a lot of things the government is doing that is good, and we should be supporting those and lifting those up and talking about them. And we shouldn't just sit in a conversation over wine and laugh about how horrible governments are. Because that reinforces this notion that public institutions have no value. Well, I can assure you that when the state of Texas, when the legislature signs a bill and says we're going to go to all-day kindergarten, that lifts up hundreds of thousands of kids with the signing of a pen that philanthropy could never get done with all the little preschool programs that we're trying to run in various neighborhoods. All the state of Texas, every child in the state of Texas gets lifted up. Not just the ones where there happens to be a elementary readiness program. So don't tell me the government doesn't work. Government works. It's people who don't want it to work because their money is coming from some other place. So his point to me was correct the denial, recognize how complicit each of us is in the processes that brought us here. So much so, first step is to stop letting comments go by, to start challenging folks on the realities of what this is all about. You know, I have a residency program that Billy Lane back there spoke and coordinated and led this group of young professionals, the brightest of bright here in Dallas, under 30. Gerald has spoken to them. We were at the JFK Memorial. They're under 30. They get paid more money than I do. They work in big firms. They're engineers and accountants and consultants and McKinsey. As we were in the LBJ, we were in the 6th floor, the JFK, and I was talking about LBJ. And they were looking at me like, how can you drive on the freeway in LBJ, first of all, and not know who he is? I know his place in history. So I said, the brakes, I was asking him, well, what, you're Dallas. How many of you grew up in Dallas? Most of them did. I said, what did you learn in history about what happened, where we're standing?
Are you saying that these young educated professionals did not do LBJ?
But it goes to the very point that we don't read, our students are not required. Talk about, I made my staff read the newspaper, right? Well, that was like war. That was like a war. They're like, you're a dinosaur. Nobody needs to sit at your desk and read the newspaper. But yet every day when I would ask them something, they couldn't tell me what it was. We get our news from other sources. Okay, then what's going to happen today? These are the forces that we live with, and these are the forces that we have to embrace. So I have to pretend that I love millennials, even though I despise them. But there is a chance that I might be able to influence them to stand up against these systems. And understand that there is a history and a reason why all of this stuff, I don't know about you, but somebody will say, Tony, you've got to meet this thought. When you talk about the thought leaders, I thought I was going to come up with, Tony, you've got to meet this thought leader in Dallas. And I'd be like, who appointed this person a thought leader? Where did they go to school? Where did they get their PhD? Who were their mentors? Who were the well, they don't have they're just thought leaders. Okay. Well, that's who is influencing the generation of folks who are going to be our next leaders. Not the real fixers. Not the people who give in their lives over to studying something for a lifetime. Not those who are analyzing it and writing about it and being in dialogue about it, but the so-called social experts that are the stand straight or have the power to telling men to stop abusing them, right? Speaking of KRA, we heard but 1 million women